What's up, guys? It's Minx. Hopefully this is the last-ish video, hopefully the last straight up video before we end up doing an early access release. I wanted to finish some things up. I wanted to get enemy spawning fully in the game, in the menu, so that it could be used, and then proceed from there. So in the last video, just to recap, we added the masked enemy AI to both our indoor and outdoor list, so it could be spawned inside or outside. And since it's an indoor and outdoor enemy, its mesh or its AI nav mesh should work either way. The only thing I might end up adding is later is the ability to send all these enemies outside because they can. It's just goofy. And I think someone else has already figured that out, so it'd be pretty cool. The only other thing I want to do before we proceed, oh, one last thing, if you didn't catch it, is we added the ability to check for the best enemy match inside of these methods instead of having to call them separately. So if we go back to like Quick Mini Manager, spawn enemy at nearest location, we put in the name, and it automatically gets that. Like that probably should have been from the get-go. I just added them as like helper methods. Now they're actually used properly. So um, it gets the best enemy match prior to checking to see which enemy to spawn, and then it spawns the enemy based on that. So in this video, it's going to be another boring GUI part. We're going to go ahead and add enemy spawning methods to the GUI. So for example, we have to uh, do a like text box and then some buttons to spawn on. I also want to get a list of players to do spawning on as well. And this, so in my last video, the other video that's releasing today, I don't know if it's already out or if this one's coming first, whichever one's coming first. Um, both of these are freeform. I'm coding this as we go. This isn't stuff where I had like the code in front of me. So bear in mind that this is just me kind of going from scratch again. So in this one, I want to do a text box for enemy spawning. I was gonna do like a drop down list or something, but I'd have to code it from scratch where we do like a list of buttons that is in a scrollable box that gets spawned when you or gets shown when you click on the drop down button and then the drop down. But it's complicated and ridiculous. Okay, it's not happening. So instead, we're just going to make it just like the other GameMaster, the original version. And yeah, so our first one is going to be, let's see, just want to see, spawn enemies. Okay, so in here, spawn enemies, and I'm just going to label these real quick. Host settings, uh, spawn enemies, host settings. What's the third one? Server settings, and then let's say other for now. Okay, so for spawning enemies, what do we want to do? So text box for which enemy to spawn. Button to spawn randomly. Button to spawn. So we got button to spawn randomly. Button to spawn. So we button to spawn randomly, but we also need a list of player buttons to spawn near. So it'll have to be, so we'll have to use a probably a scrolling list of enemies to spawn near. So we're gonna write that today. Text box to spawn enemy randomly, and then I think that's pretty much it. So it's not actually that complicated. Um, Maybe later we'll add like a spawn inside or spawn outside when we add all enemies in. So let's get rid of custom button for now. Um, so let's go ahead and do this. And the first thing I want to do is do a text field. So I want to make this a private string that it has access to. So let's do or let's just do the text field first. So GUI.text field, and it is a string, so that's right. And we need a new rect, and we're going to start at menu start plus I'm gonna give it like a padding. I should probably do like a padding or something like that. Um, so let's do padding here. Um, we'll say a default padding private int padding equals 10. It's not all big padding, but it's enough to like, so menu start equals menu x plus toolbar width plus padding. So then center x is going to, so menu start is going to be moved over 10 pixels. So we have 10 pixels off from that, but we also want the end of it. So, oh, this is going to start getting ridiculous because we need, so we have the literal actual menu start location slash dimensions and dimensions, and then we have some other stuff such as 3/4 x toolbar width, toolbar d width. Get out of here. Where's toolbar? It's down here. Yeah, spell that right. There we go. That goes based off that, but I want like a draw area, I guess you could say, which would start from 10 pixels down, 10 pixels up from the bottom, 10 pixels down from the top, 10 pixels over from the right side of the menu start. So menu start, man, I don't want to, well, I guess now would be the time to do all this before we start getting like, yeah, before we start like adding a billion things and then having to rewrite everything. So, okay. So we'll say draw area x, private int draw area y, private int draw area width, draw area height. There we go. So I want to use the draw areas to actually define, and then I want to put center x, quarter x, and 3/4. Actually, fuck it. We're gonna put item dimensions. So toolbar width, item width. That's fine. And item dimensions, whatever. It's not like I'm not doing regions, I'm just doing comments, but we could do regions there. Let's say, I don't know. We'll leave that alone for now, and we'll say draw area dimensions and draw area, whatever. Okay, so let's do some recalculations. So menu start, so draw area x, center x equals draw area x. So plus menu width, see, it's not menu width divided by 2 minus item width divided by 2 anymore. Center x is going to be a little different. So, oh man. So let's calculate draw area width. So draw area width. Where'd width go? Oh, drawer. I thought it was draw area width and height. I was trying to figure like, no, I put it in. So we're just gonna do some better calculations. So draw area width equals. So it's gonna be draw area x plus. So it's gonna be menu width minus toolbar width. That's the full draw area. That's the draw area width. Oh, hold on. Menu width minus toolbar width minus 10 minus padding, excuse me. So we go bring out the paint here. And I know this is probably boring as shit. I'm sorry, but this is important. So we have our menu, and those are buttons, our toolbar, whatever. We're not gonna toolbar. And we have padding that goes from here to here to here to here. So this is our actual draw area. So when we get draw area width, we take draw area X, which is calculated to be this point here, and then we add the menu width minus the toolbar width. So we essentially add this, and it looks like we're probably going to have to subtract padding times 2 minus padding times 2 because we need to subtract both left and right. So that was my mistake. So we need to subtract this padding and this padding to get the width. So minus padding times 2. So that's the width, and then we have center X equals draw area X plus draw area width minus item width. Oh, my fucking thing's trying to record. Get out of here. Radian divided by 2. And we can put those in parentheses just in case to make sure they get calculated ahead of time, just like that. So that's good. And now I want to do the Y. So draw area Y is a lot simpler. Area Y equals menu Y. And I think it's got to be, oh man, I always forget. In here, I think we plus 10. I'm gonna say minus padding. I forget if it's up or down. If it's lower, then we're gonna have to go back and change this. But for now, draw area Y equals menu Y minus padding. And then draw area height equals. So going back to paint here, if we're trying to calculate this, so paint is going to be, or the height is going to be from here to here. So we have to do the menu height minus padding times 2. Menu height minus padding times 2. Okay. And now we have our draw area to work with rather than trying to figure out, how, because things being right next to each other aren't very good. So we use padding. So when we use the toolbar can use the normal stuff, but we want draw area X because that's equal to menu start. We'll just put all of these over, and then draw area Y for menu Y instead, because we're not wanting to do the menu Y. We're trying to do the draw area Y. And then that's fine. We need to go back here and add draw. It's good we did this now instead of figuring it out later, because if we figure it out later, we have to do a lot of extra stuff. We have to do this for the 500 things we have drawing on the screen. Okay. And that should be fine for now. If we need to go back and fix anything, we should. But the only difference this should do for us now is we now have padding built in, so it's not like right up against everything. So let's go ahead and do our text field. So for our text field, I want to do a private string up here. Styles, colors. And I'm going to add a hashtag region menu dimensions. And we're going to come down here. Hashtag end region. Okay. Makes things cleaner. And up here, just do internal string enemy to spawn. And then we come down here and we set the GUI text field equal to enemy to spawn. And then for text field, do a new rect, and we're going to do draw area start. And I'm probably going to move this over, I'm going to be honest. Draw area X, comma, and we're probably going to do draw area Y. Draw area Y, just to put it in the top left corner. Item width And then we'll just do a 30 tall because it's a text field. And we give it some text equals, for this, I believe we just set it equal to enemy to spawn. And that's fine for that. One thing I want to fix here is, so when I was writing this, I realized I was right. So we don't subtract the menu Y, we add it for this one. So we do draw area Y, we do menu plus padding, or not, menu Y plus padding. And for the height, we don't change this one because although menu height is like, actually, menu height plus, yeah, because we determined that the menu height, we've already determined the menu height and we just subtract it a little bit. So that's perfectly fine. Um, so let's go ahead and see if things are in the right spot now that we've added a text box. I know we want to do a little bit more here, but one thing at a time. Let's see, it's over here. Here we go. I'm gonna find these things. Okay, so that's my plugins and it's my debug. Go ahead and refresh. Plop that in there, and let's test it out. I just want to see what it looks like. Not that it's gonna do anything. Okay, so do I still have that thing trying to spawn in? If I do this, I said I don't want it to break. Of course it does. I have to hit the button. We're going to get rid of that for testing, so I don't have to pull this lever every time I want to test it out. Okay, let's see. Okay, so that's good. Of course, we have the padding here. This is not using padding or anything. We could do like sections or whatever, but for now this is fine. So the text box is in a pretty decent spot, to be honest. The only thing is the text is a little small. And there's no label or anything like that. But I really like the padding, how it works there, so that's good. So we're gonna go ahead and quit. And first things first, comment this line out. Make sure the only thing in here is this. The reason for that is if there's an error when you try and call the patch, then the original method's not gonna run. It's not gonna open the menu. It's just gonna piss off, and I don't want that. So this is fine. Let's go ahead and go back to the mod menu now that we know things are, kind of where we expect them to be. Um, uh, we'll go ahead and go back here. So I want to do, for the enemy to spawn text field, I want to do plus 30. And I want to do a label right above it. So we're going to copy this GUI label here actually and steal it. And so draw area X is fine. Draw area fine. Or draw area Y is fine. Item width is fine. 30 is fine. And then the label should just be enemy name. Okay. So honestly, I find it easier to like visualize things as we're going. So I'm gonna get rid of all the extra stuff and we're just gonna have a box for what we're drawing. So we have a label here, we have our text box. What do we want to do next? So where do we want to put it? I think I want a list of players to spawn over here. So maybe, or like a selectable thing. So maybe a list of checkboxes that look like buttons, which we can do. So spawn randomly here, R, and then a spawn button here, near, and then, button list like this, I think is going to be the best way to go about it. And the only thing we need is an index. We don't actually need like we can put the names on the buttons, but we don't need an index. And then, yeah, I think that should be fine. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's start with the two buttons on the left side because that's easy. So spawn random and spawn near. So we're gonna do two custom buttons. I'm gonna copy these, might as well. So we'll do a custom button item width, and we'll do like, I don't know, maybe 75 because 100's really tall. 75 should be fine. We're going to draw area Y plus 100, I think. And then we're going to do draw area Y plus 2 plus 200, I think is fine. So it'll be a little bit of padding, about 25 in padding. And then we'll say spawn enemy randomly. And then spawn enemy near selected player. Okay, so let's go ahead and I know the reason I want to check this one is because of how long this is. Go ahead and do that. And I'm probably going to end up doing a spawn status where we check to see like, hey, did this enemy spawn? Did this spawn fail? What happened? That way they can know it's like, hey, this enemy can't spawn inside, for example, or this enemy can't spawn outside, for example. Um, we'll go ahead and test. Okay, so yeah, spawn enemy, and these are kind of gross. Honestly, we get a lot more space to work with than I anticipated. We could probably make this menu a little bit smaller, like probably cut it back a little bit, even back to here. But this text wrapping is not working out very well. I think we can fix that really quickly. So let's do that. Let's see here. So this button style and custom button style specifically, custom button style dot, let's see, that text. No, I think we have to use the font dot. Oh man. All right. Well, this is the beauty of not having things pre-written out. We're gonna have to figure out need UI text wrapping. Word wrap. Here we go. Okay. Dot word wrap equals true. And then that should be it. Just really quickly want to see if that worked, if we can proceed. I know we're doing like some small things before testing, but this is something that I want to get right. It doesn't have to look amazing, but I want it to look like half decent. And all right, let's go ahead and test. Okay. Go ahead and hop in. Oops. Confirm. Okay, so this looks good, significantly better. That was huge. I mean, like just a big change. So enemy name, we'll say spawn. We want a jester, and we should be able to, spawn, 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 spawn. One other thing is we want to do a mount. So, we do a mount to spawn here. So we'll just kind of quit, and we'll do case 0. Actually, I thought, actually, we're going to go ahead and just copy this over. And so GUI.label, draw area X, draw area Y. So Draw area X is fine. I want draw area Y plus item width plus padding. And I'm going to do the same thing for this, or no, excuse me, not in the Y, that's the Y location. I want this to be in the draw area X for this one. And same thing for this one. There we go. And I want this one amount to spawn for random. Okay. And the text field here, we're going to do another, it's going to be a string, but we're going to cast it to an int. So we'll say internal string amount to spawn. Just copy this to make it easy. We'll do enemy to spawn, amount to spawn, amount to spawn. And that's fine. So that's good. Now, as for the next part where we're trying to do an array of enemies, and we'll do the methods in a second here where it's like, hey, spawn, do this, 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 and this. We need to add in our array of enemies to spawn. So that is going to take a little bit more. Fortunately, we've already done something similar. Let me take a look here real quick. I don't have the actual like code written out. However, I do have my notes from when I originally found something like this and needed to do it. Because I think we did it in utilities, and when we did at nearest location, we would get a list of all player objects. Here we go. This is where we did that. So um, when we did this, we would do, let's see. So I'm going to make a helper method. So we're going to do an internal static. And it's going to be a dictionary of int string. And we're going to call it get all players. This comes from someone else actually originally wrote this one when it was originally made. They were using, what do you call it? This was for a little admin menu that actually Mama Llama wrote this part that we use to kick players. In this case, I'm going to use it to identify which player to spawn an enemy on. So we just have an int player ID equals 0. And we're going to say dictionary int string. We'll just say plist, really. Plist equals new dictionary. And then for each player controller B player in start of round, and I should be able to just get the instance dot all player scripts. We're going to say plist dot add player underscore ID, or not player underscore ID, player ID, and player dot player username. Then we're going to say player ID plus plus so that it iterates. It goes through the list of them at the same rate and identifies the correct ID for it or whatever. And we just return plist. There we go. So now we have a get all players method. So then when we go back to our GUI here and we try and load them, there is a potential issue where we may have more players than what do you want to say? More players than the menu can handle. So we're gonna have to account for that with a scroll box, which isn't super bad actually. So we're gonna just do a we're just gonna do the buttons for now, and then we're going to add a scroll box after we do it. So firstly, we're going to toss this in a try loop because it may fail or there may be issues with it. So we're just going to do a empty try catch. And in the try, we're going to do for each var player in GameMaster utilities dot get all players. And we're going to do Oh man, we're doing toggles here. So we're gonna do toggles, but the toggles are gonna be a little wild because we're doing a looping list of them. So this is gonna be where we get a little bit crazy. So let's just do buttons for now, and then we're gonna change them over to toggles. UI.button, new rect center X. Not center X. We're not gonna use that actually. We're gonna use draw area X plus draw area width minus item width to get the farthest to the right. And then we could probably actually, because that's a draw area end essentially. So we'll say menu dimensions and we'll toss this in the draw area. So private int draw area end, I guess you could say. I hate that so much, but whatever. Draw area end equals boop. So we'll toss this at draw area end, which all draw area end is the farthest right that an element should draw. Draw area end, and then we'll say draw area Y, so it'll be at the top. For now, and we'll say draw area Y plus, and it's player dot key times. So it's going to be how tall these are. Since these are going to be, they're going to be buttons, I'm going to do times 50. Um, so that's how tall each one's going to be. Draw area Y. Then we have the width, item width. And then we're going to do 50 tall. And then for this one, so this part of the button, it's going to be player.value for the text on it. Value, capital. Okay, so in a 4-player lobby, this should just be enough, and we'd have to switch these over to toggles. But we could also just uh, give like a text thing and saying, "Hey, this is the select player, set selected player." But I don't know. We'll see. Uh, let's go ahead and let's see. Oh, the other thing I want to do is say, oh, we're gonna do a custom button. We're not gonna do custom buttons for this because it's gonna end up being a list of checkboxes. So we're gonna change this anyway. Let's test and see if this is working. One thing for this to work is, or well, one thing to note with this is we're gonna see a list of empty player scripts. So that's why we're gonna have to start doing like try catch. You know, this ain't working. What the heck's going on here? Stuff like that. Okay, go ahead and host. Okay, we'll do this. I don't know why I started it to be honest, but whatever. Okay. I'm not sure how they ended up all the way out there to be honest, and that is a little big, but we got this and they do work, so they kind of show up. So I got to figure out why they ended up all the way over there. I said, let's go back to the code real quick just to double check. So draw area end is where they spawn. That's the issue on the x-axis. So we calculated that wrong. So equals draw area x plus draw area width minus item width. I'm not sure what the issue is there. Oh, you know what? Well, no. What? What is, okay, draw area x equals, width equals draw area x plus menu width. So plus to about here, minus toolbar width to get about here. Well, I guess about here, minus padding times 2. So do I just say draw area width minus item width? I guess, I don't know. Because I guess the only difference is I'm adding draw area, whatever. That's fine. So I just need to figure out how to calculate this properly. So we'll just get rid of that part. Oops. And we'll just save and build again and toss it in. This is the beauty of developing. Cut a lot of this stuff out when I do these videos proactively. Do a lot of just, oh shoot, I made this one tiny mistake. Let's go ahead and test that out and see if this fixed it real quick. Okay. Host, confirm. And okay, that was it. I must have miscalculated what the heck the menu width was actually pointing to. So this is fine. And we'll probably do a scroll box from here down. Um, okay, so I need to fix that. That kind of ticks me off that that's like that. Um, we'll probably just make it like wider because it looks like I have like 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, well, man, see, I wanted that to be wider, but I don't need this to be wider. Um, that's fine. So I want to do these as checkboxes. So we need to change these buttons into checkboxes that look like buttons. So let's go ahead and quit out. And so let's see, Unity GUI, how to make checkbox look like button. Make, well, it'd be toggle. Um, I'm curious. So we can do that, GUI button. I want to take a look at the documentation here. So let's bring this over. So the button's probably not going to be able to do this. So I looked at the toggle, and we can change the toggle over to a button by setting the style type to a button. But I'm not really interested in that. I think I am more interested in, let's see, so GUI style. So we have the GUI.skin.button. That's where I'm interested. So GUI skin button, GUI skin.button. Okay, here we go. This isn't very helpful. So do we have like a GUI.skin.button? Do we have like a GUI. Here, let's go down to our custom button because this is probably where this is going to happen. So style dot selected, or so we have normal, hover, and active. Is there anything else such as, let's see, we have padding. We actually have built-in padding. We have normal, we have on active. Yeah, we have the normal, hover, active. Clip offset clipping, draw, fixed height, fixed width, focused, font, font size, font style, hover. Okay, we have on active, on focused, on hover, on normal. So we don't have one for like, aside from that. let's see, style.active dot, let's see. So, okay, so each of these are like dot hover dot, hmm, dot normal dot, yeah, so we don't have like another one. What we could do is, this is gonna sound goofy, so I really don't want to do the toggle box things because that really restricts our control. Is instead set these up to address a label and have that label which player has been selected. So we'll say private void, or maybe private void update selected player. Do string. Actually, we'll do, yeah, so we're gonna have to store a string, or well, we'll just, can we just do like a, now we'll just grab the int in the string. So int player ID, string player name. I'll just grab that stuff and pass it through, and we'll just store these as an int and a string inside the menu. Whatever, that's fine, because these, I'm comfortable with this. So we'll do, and actually we can make these private because we're just passing over a method. I don't want to be able to get these from this menu outside of it because that just adds unnecessary complication. The menu should be sending it over, not having it requested. So we're going to do a private string player name to spawn enemy on, and private int player ID. So what we'll say is we'll just player to spawn and player ID, spawn enemy on equals player name, and player, oh god, did I call it? Player ID equals player ID. Okay. So those, and then we'll be there, and then we'll go into our thing here, and then we say we only need to do one if, so we do if, and we're going to change this to a custom button, so that's okay. So if this is true, we're going to say update selected player with, and it's int first, right? Player dot key is an int, and then player dot value. I don't know, that's cheese, but whatever. I really don't feel like doing it the other way. The other way would just be having a highlighted button, which looks nice, to be honest, but I would prefer to style it with our custom button stuff. So we have this, and these are in a fine spot. Let's really quickly turn these over to custom buttons. So let's say custom button. And for custom button, we need this. So we've got our position, our string, and then a color. I'm going to make these green, I guess. That's fine. Oh, am I missing something? Oh, GUI style, excuse me. Custom button style. There we go. Okay, green's probably not the way to go. Green's kind of ugly, but it's fine. So we've got all this stuff. We're not going to catch anything. It's fine for now. And then the only other thing we want to do for this one is, of course, we're going to have to fix this one label. Let's make it like 60. And we'll say plus 60, unfortunately. So it'll be a little further down. And actually what we can do is say enemy to spawn plus 60. So we'll put these next to each other still. And we'll give this one a 60 height. And then we'll move these buttons down. So that's 60, 90. So we'll give these down 100. Or put these down 100. Oops. Oh no. They're already 100 down. 100 down and 200 down. So that should be enough space. And we just need to add labels. So we're going to do, or just one label actually. Or, well, I guess we'll do two. So we'll do two labels. And the first one is going to be player, select player. Okay. And we need times 2. And actually it should be, no, that sounds about right. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Plus item width times 2. We'll see if that works. And then draw area Y. So plus, so this is in the, let's go back to our paint here. So it's going to be in the, so we have this, we have those drawing there, we have those drawing there, so, and we have something here. So it should just be the second section. So we're in the second section here. So it should just be draw area plus, let's see, so this is 60 plus 90, so plus 100. And this is 60 tall, so plus 160. I hate using hard-coded numbers here, but sometimes it is what it is. And for this one, this is going to be equal to our player to spawn enemy on. There we go. And by default, that's probably going to be empty, and we're going to have to select it, but that's okay. Maybe by default, we'll like select it to the first player. So let's go here and see what our menu looks like, see if there's any issues. How long is this video? This is a 46-minute video. I am so sorry. Line. Make sure there's no issues with the code. Looks good. Okay, so unfortunately, we don't have the space to make that work like that. May have to make these a little. So we have 800. I'm probably gonna have to make it a 900 wide, so that's okay. But now it's, so these won't work because there's no actual player. So I don't know if we'll be able to like check for that. Well, maybe we'll try. So what I want to do is, I thought I put it below this. That's okay. I want to put it like right maybe here or something. Um, that's okay. So yeah, man, that's rough. It makes sense. The logic makes sense. It's 100 wide a piece. Um, let's see. Yeah, I was trying to put it like here. I thought I put it there, but that's okay. So we're gonna quit out of this. Did I multiply it by 2? Is that the issue? I did. Plus item width times 2. So we're just gonna do plus item width plus padding. Okay, so that's fine. And then for a status, it's kind of hard to do a status. So we're gonna, okay, so first let's go ahead and do these. So spawn enemy randomly. So let's add these methods. So if custom button, then we're gonna say GameMaster utilities that spawn enemy at random location, and the enemy name is going to be, actually hold on, we're gonna do this a little differently. Because firstly, C# trycast int. String to int. Okay. Firstly, we're going to do a try parse. So what a try parse will do is try and get an int from our input from the one thing. So we're going to say if int 32.tryparse. Oh, we probably don't need that int 32. And the input string, I don't know why it defaulted to that. So we're going to try parse our amount to spawn. out int num value. So if this succeeds, then we are going to say GameMaster utilities dot spawn enemy at random location, and it's going to say our enemy to spawn, amount to spawn. Oh, not amount to spawn, excuse me, num value, because we've tried to parse it, and if we do it, and then we could do like an else here, and say set a, so we'll do like an error status, like a string. I don't know, something about error status is nice on my. I like to do these, so we're gonna do a private string error status, and we could say else error status equals amount to spawn is not an integer. Okay. I really like that. I don't know why. It's just something about saying, "Hey, you did this wrong. Do it right." Um, okay, so we've got that working. That should work. And then for the custom button for spawn enemy near selected player, we'll do an if. And I don't think we need to do that here. I'm going to just in case. We don't need to parse or anything. So game master utilities dot spawn enemy at nearest location. And the enemy name is going to be enemy to spawn, and the player index is going to be player ID. Um, so, and actually we're going to do a try catch here. Try catch. The reason being is error status equals unable to spawn enemy near player. Check the player ID. So the reason for this is when we spawn enemy at nearest location, the enemy to spawn passing as a string is always going to return a value. Oops, I put a J here. It's always going to say, if we go over to GameMaster Utilities, get best enemy, or when we say spawn enemy at nearest location, it's also this for random location. It's going to get best enemy match, and when it does that, we go down to get best enemy match. It's going to check to see what is the closest actual enemy that exists in the game, that what is the closest enemy to what you put, and it's going to select that. So there is no way that that fails. So when we do this, we could also return a true or a false depending on if it succeeds later, but for now that should be fine. And we're going to give an error status of success, and we're going to do that here as well. And the only thing that's left for now, just for basic stuff working, is to give us a GUI label for an error status, so actual error status. So let's go ahead and do that. So if we go to, let's see, player controller B patch. No, I don't know why I'm looking up there. So just here, just the label. We'll grab this label here. Actually, we'll grab the, where's the double label I had? I did like two labels next to each other somewhere. Here they are. I want these. So we're going to do error status. And this is going to be equal to error status. And the only thing that we need to do for this is decide where to place them. So this is a wrong interpretation of the menu. It's a little not like wide enough. Here we go. So this is more wide, and we can put this here. I'm not going to draw anything on it though. So we have our stuff here. We have our button and button. You know, it's not very perfect, but it is what it is. We have this here. We have this here. And we have our player buttons here, and we have a smaller gap there. So I think the error status is going to go here, I'm probably going to shorten the menu up a little bit. And the cool thing with how we coded this is, if we shorten up the menu by, let's say, 100 or two, or 150 maybe, is this is just going to move over. It's just going to bring it over. So it's going to do this, and then it's going to come here, and then those are just going to automatically move with it. So let's do that here real quick. Don't save. So since we have, oh man, I don't know. Our item width is 300, right? And we have 800. Really? Oh, menu width, we'll do 850, I think is fine. So that should be okay. And then the other thing I wanted to do was actually determine where to put those. So in terms of the width, they're fine. Draw area Y. So that's plus 100, plus 160. This needs to be 260 at least. So we'll do 300 and 360. I think that should be okay. And since it's, oh boy, 260, we'll do 280 and 340. I think that's going to exceed our expected parameters, but we'll see. So we'll save that. Let's take a look here and see how it looks. And actually, we should be able to test enemy spawning completely. Go ahead and hit online. Host a game, confirm. Okay, so why do I feel like this is like supposed to be smaller? I don't know. Let's go ahead and give it a shot though. Let's hop in here. And let's spawn a masked. Let's spawn a mask near Minx. Okay, spawn two of the motherfuckers somewhere. There they are. Okay. Fuck off. No. I want to spawn more enemies. Seriously, go away. I can't destroy them yet. I think that's going to be a future update. Let's go ahead and spawn. Let's spawn a DGO. Uh-oh. Oh, I have God mode, I think. I don't see any dogs. No, you go away. You know what's happening. Hold on. It's probably picking up something else. Hold on, we're going to do a mouth. Yep, that was it. It was picking up something else. Yeah, you guys are fucking annoying. Okay, so that's good. So I think dog is probably spawning something else, or DGO. I don't know what else it would be spawning. Probably, what's our dictionary say? Probably something here. Probably something tiny here. Maybe a goo or something, or maybe I don't know what it would be spawning. But anyway, um, if it was trying to spawn an indoor enemy outside, it was probably also failing. But okay, so well, it wouldn't do that. I don't know. Anyway, everything is good, so everything's working. Let's fix that one thing actually. Okay. So draw area Y plus 100 plus 160. Oh no, I was thinking. Okay, so 160 plus let's say 200 and plus 260. That was my issue. I was adding those together in my mind. Or well, yeah, it's like okay, so that's good. And that's pretty much it for now. We're gonna go ahead and build this real quick. It's not pretty. I'm not gonna pretend like it's the most beautiful thing in the world, but it is functional. Go ahead and do one last test. How long is this video? It's an hour long. Um, so I'm probably gonna do this video and the other video in tandem within like maybe an hour of each other on Tuesday. And I'm probably going to do some visual changes before I actually release this. So just a heads up. Okay, there we go. Um, that's a little low in my opinion. I think that could probably be a little bit higher. That doesn't quite need to be 60. So whatever. I'm going to do some visual changes on my own. I don't think anyone needs to sit here and wait for this. I kind of like how it looks like it's modules that kind of get slapped in here rather than like just gross stuff. Like they all have their little bit of spacing. But with that said, thanks for watching. The mod menu should be out by the time you see this particular video on Tuesday. So it's not going to have a lot of stuff, but I plan on adding things, fixing bugs and stuff, and getting all that stuff done before proceeding. So, um, yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day.